Welcome everybody to What If Deku Was an Inkling. Um, wow. I'll be starting this video off by basically clarifying what I meant in the last video by I'll be changing this, I'll be changing the story up from here on out. Deku will not be doing the sports festival. Deku will not be taking place in the sports festival. That's for sure. I think Deku has came to the conclusion, even with his so powerful quirk, he won't make it so too far in the sports festival. So he's just not gonna enter the sports festival at all. And Mr. Azawa asks if he's sure, like, that he doesn't want to enter the sports festival. As he's like, yeah, he doesn't want to enter the sports festival because he knows he's not going to make it that far with the quirk he has and what it's supposed to be used for. He needs certain support items to use his quirk, and even on a one-on-one battle, a person that can fling ice and fire versus a person that can shoot paint. Uh, and Deku really does. Deku like can kind of tell what like is gonna be in the sport festival, like agility, which a lot of children like with basically quirks that enhance the agility is gonna pass. You can tell that there is also going to be a cavalry battle. He's not going to be that he's not going to be that helpful in a cavalry battle. So on a one-on-one battle, yes, he'll do fine on a one-on-one battle. But I'm looking at the beginning two phases, like the race that they had to do in the sports festival. He's not going to be he's going to be useless because these like he can I can see him catching up with a few people, but I don't see him even. I like see him getting near to last in the basically the race. The cavalry battle, I don't think anyone would choose him because he's not going to be useful that much. He might be useful for long range, but not that much in defense and basically defense and offense. Long range offense, yes, but defense and offense, no. Um, One-on-one battles, there are people that can still beat him, like Todoroki, just Todoroki, and people that train their quirks even harder now. So Deku won't be taking place in the sports festival, UA Sports Festival. So I've created a new thing that Deku will be taking place in. So will another person, you know who, you also know who, it's the ship of this video. They will be also taking place in this, how can I say it, competition that I've basically made, as this competition is going to be taking place. So My Hero Academia takes place in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. It takes place in Japan. So this competition is going to take place also in Japan, but it's going to take place in somewhere. Yes, the competition is going to take place in Tokyo. This is the competition is going to start at midnight. It's going to end at basically dawn. So it's like it's going to start at midnight. It's going to end at dawn. Basically, that's like the whole half a night. And the war is going to be different because it's going to be more UV light, glow in the dark paint, to be more specifically. It's going to be glow in the dark paint they'll be using, and they're going to fight it out midnight in this basically team free for all, or basically team kill battle. There's going to be 500 people entering. uh, there's only going to be 10 people that basically the top 10 people that survive basically are going to get a reward, and first and second place is also going to get a reward. like there's gonna be aspects of Fortnite, not like there's gonna be access of Fortnite gameplay. Basically, they're not gonna jump down like just jump from a jet and land in Tokyo and start basically looking for guns. No, they're gonna have their guns on them. They're not gonna jump from a jet. They're gonna be in Japan or in Tokyo. They're gonna be in Tokyo, and the game is basically they're gonna have a phone and a neck bracer, you can say, something on their neck to track them, to track where they are. As basically the people that are overseeing the game is going to track where they are through the net collar thing that they're wearing. And if they are on a team, it's going to show also that they're also going to have a map on their phones, giving them a map, uh, basically a cube, an outline cube, and this cube will slowly get smaller. Like the more time goes down, the cube will slowly get smaller until it's basically a kill box and basically everyone's in the center. As yeah, it has that Fortnite aspect, and if anyone like basically waltz out of this box, they are instantly like basically out of the game, and it will say on their collar that you've lost the game, as they'll also get a location on where to meet if you lose the game. But yeah, so yes, this paint war is going to be taking place in Tokyo, as Mr. Ozawa basically speaks about the sports festival, as it's basically starting when it's basically starting after, like after the Tokyo paint war is finished, then it's starting. Then like the next day, the US Sports Festival starting. So I like I think Izuku like talked about this to Mr. Zhao already, and he said it's fine. But Mr. Zhao had to inform the principal first, as Principal Nezu says it's fine, as Deku's going to a competition. Now I'm gonna say while everyone's doing their training, while everyone's doing their training prep for the basically how can I say it, the UA like sports festival, Deku was basically left school and now he's on his way to basically the war, like basically the paint war that's going to happen. He rented a hotel there already, so basically he's taking part, as he has his signature dual wheel double paint guns. He has his sniper with him, his rolling pin and his sword. This time he holds three weapons. He used to hold two, but now he holds three. Just for like he holds the swords, basically dual wield pistols, and he'll either hold the rolling pin or sniper. But this time, I would say he like swaps the sword out for the rolling pin and then holds the sniper with it. I mean, it makes him slow because he's carrying two long objects, but still, it is gonna help him a lot. Um, and I'm just gonna skip to one moment in Japan. As Deku was basically, it's night, Deku is busy walking around exploring Japan, exploring his layout of battle. Basically, you need to know, like, basically how the battlefield's gonna look like, and how to traverse the land. As Deku's busy, like, looking around, like, alleyways, back alleys, like, looking for escape routes. Basically, Deku walks into a back alley. As actually unknowing to him, somebody is following him. As they're not following through the alleyway, they're following through the roof. As like Izuku like walks down the alleyway, as it's a long dark alleyway, as he's finally getting the chills of someone watching him, as he looks at behind him, in front of him, as he feels like he's being watched, he just doesn't know where. Until basically he just like thinks, I'm gonna start running now, as something drops on top of him, As basically we all know the famous silhouette and smile. Yeah, Toga drops on top of him. Toga's the one following him, and Toga is gonna be the one partnering up with Deku or Izuku, I must say. As Toga drops on top of him, as basically Izuku struggles to get out, as they look to see who's holding them down, as they see Toga, as they're like, Toga, what are you doing here? Aren't you a villain? As basically he tries to get out of the basically hole that she has him in, as basically she's like, don't worry, Izuku, I'm not here to take you to the villain league or anything. You can say I'm on vacation. As Izuku gets a dumb look as he's like, villains take vacations. As base as Toga's like, yeah, villains take a vacation. As basically Deku's like, so you're not gonna try to cut me. As Toga still has that like weird thing about cutting people. As Toga's like, not yet, I'm not. As she started like slowly pulling out a knife, as basically like basically Deku's not struggling, as he's like while Deku's trying to get out, as she's giving a dumb look, as she's like, not yet, I'm not. As basically Deku finally says, so what did you come here for, Toga? As Toga's like, the same thing I came here. Wait, the same thing you came here for. The paint war, obviously, as basically Izuku realizes that Toga is going to take place in this paint war, as basically Toga lets Deku free. As I would say Izuku is wondering why Toga let him free, as Izuku says that, you know, I can just tell the cops that you're a villain, right? As basically Toga says, yeah, but I will never let you do that. I would stop you and shoot you in the head before you had the chance. As Izuku's like, I thought that very much. As basically everyone that came for the paint war got got an invitation, or invitation basically, and they all, like, people that are coming accepted it. So the people that are basically they're playing the game, or this paint war game, they get an email on where to meet, and basically every, like, Toga also gets this message off her phone, and she's like, looks like we're going, as the, like, rendezvous is like a few minutes away from where they are. As I'm gonna say, like, a few minutes later they have walked to the rendezvous, as there's 500 people, like 500 people listening to one person explain the rules of this paintball. Okay, so I'm also going to explain the rules now to all of you, as Deku and Toga are busy listening to the rules. Yeah, I explain the rules now. Okay, so the rules are, there are teams here. So basically, it's only a two-man team. This battle is only a two-man team, so basically, if you don't have a partner with you, you can't enter this competition. That's one thing. It's a two-man team. This battle will take place in the entire one side, like, say, let's say, west side of Tokyo. The entire west half of Tokyo. This battle will take place. You cannot go out of the cube box that is shown on your map. This cube box will close, like, this cube box will gain a warning, show, like, basically, like, if the cube box is basically going to get smaller, and you are, and basically it will, your basically wrist thing, it will say, and they're busy putting on this wrist thing, like, to track, as your wrist thing will start glowing, stating that if you don't, like, get to basically go more inwards, you're gonna get caught by the barrier and probably eliminated. And also, this thing will also tell if you've been eliminated as well. As if you've been eliminated, this thing will basically take you off the map. As your phone has an echolocation, you could say it's echolocation. It will basically, you can do a location, a track location. It's as big as a football field, as it will track anybody in a football field's range and show their location. As Deku can run to them, sneak, like basically it will show them their location. And just because Deku has this on his phone doesn't mean that anyone else doesn't have it. Everyone has it. So that means everyone will know everyone's location in 5 minutes, like in a minute time separator. So every 5 minutes, Deku can use this location thing and track down the nearest team. But that's vice versa for other teams. Every 5 minutes, other teams can use the location thing to track down Deku. As Deku needs a partner to be in this match with him. Um, okay, so the rule is 5 shots and you're out. That's basically 5 shot rule. You can paint as much as you want in Tokyo. The paint that they're giving you is not permanent, and if you run out of ammo, then you're also out. If you run out of ammo, that's not going to be a problem for Deku and Toga because both of their quirks are ink quirks, so they will not run out of paint. As basically, this also will be taken at midnight, so the battle will start directly midnight. As basically where the lights are basically brightest in Tokyo, midnight. As this is a competition that's being recorded on live, so that means like, but this is like a recorded, this is just a recording, as it will be posted on a live paint wall the day after the sports festival. As the more like people you basically kill, the more points you rack up. This is a point system as well. As you get a survival, basically you get the survival, like if you're the basically your team is the last survivor, you get the first place for last surviving team, and you also get first place for team that's basically got the most points. Killing people costs basically 10 points each. Killing one person costs 10 points. Killing a team costs basically 50. So basically if you kill, like, say now one party, or if you kill a team, basically a team consists of two, you get 5 points plus 50 points, which you will get 60 points. So that's 64 points. So it's 5 from killing the two people, and 50 from killing like just killing the team. There's no revival, so basically if your team's 5 shots, they're out. But you can basically, I wouldn't say heal them, but you can erase some of the paint off and give them a few more hit points. That's also a thing. As basically as Tokyo is halved, so this side of Tokyo is going to be their playground. So the paint war is going to take place in the west side of Tokyo. People can be on skyscrapers, people can be in buildings, people can be in restaurants. It doesn't matter where they are. The paint war is going to begin and no one's stopping it. As the paint war is going to begin in 3 days. Now I would say like just 3 days from now. So the paint war is going to begin 3 days from now. As basically Deku needs a partner, or Izuku needs a partner, to put it more simply, or else he's not going to be able to take part in this basically competition. As there's 500 teams, and there's basically 500 teams. No, there's 500 players. There's 500 players, and there's a lot of teams that he needs to eliminate. The first 10 teams will get a prize. The first 10 people that rocks up the most kills will also get a prize. There's like 2 basically medals to be won here. As I'm gonna start the battle now. So I'm gonna basically, Deku is looking for a partner, as Toga also needs one. As Toga goes to Deku, as she says, so how about we be partners? As basically Izuku's thinking of this, me partnering up with a villain, what would UA think? As Deku thinks of this again, well, she's not actually a villain right now, so I think UA wouldn't mind. Okay, as he agrees, like, okay, Toga, just for now. As basically Toga's excited, as she brought her weapons, so I'm gonna tell Toga's like weapon setup right now. Okay, Toga's weapons consist of this gun. It consists of a rolling pin. No, not a rolling pin. She doesn't have a rolling pin. Izuku has a rolling pin. It's this gun, a bucket, and her final is gosh, where's the final? Um, and an umbrella. Yeah. So basically, it's close range, mid range. She has close range fiery, which can also go over walls. She has close range weapons, which can shoot over walls. She has mid range weaponry, which can counter basically anyone that comes close range. And she has an umbrella, which is also a close range weapon. She's rocking 3 weapons with her. Izuku's rocking long range sniper, close range rolling pin, and dual wielder. So basically it's close range, close to mid range, and then long range. As that's what Izuku's basically taking with him. As Toga is taking with her, basically she's taking with close range, she's taking with also mid range, and then a basically shield to defend them all. So basically they're going to be a lot of close, they're going to be more of a close-up team, eliminating teams like quickly. But because of Izuku's sniper, they're also going to be a long-range team as well. So depending on like how the battle shifts, how they will swap weaponry. Toga's secondary, or Toga's bombs to be more exact, bombs. Toga's gonna have these guys, which are I'm just gonna say they're basically bombs. Toga can let out these bot bombs. She's also gonna have, because Izuku have both sticky bombs, like Izuku has these like landmines, sticky bombs, and this. Toga has this, force field, and this. Basically, to even out. So she has these bots, the force field, which is this thing, paint field, and this. Now Toga's special, or Toga basically Izuku has used 2 specials, but Toga's also gonna have 2 specials as well, to be a bit more exact. Toga's gonna have basically rain cloud, paint rain cloud, and basically this gun, basically a gun that can shoot through walls, to put it more exact. It's like a laser that can shoot through walls. So it's basically a paint rain cloud and a laser that can shoot through walls. Izuku, on the other hand, has his rocket launcher, his trademark rocket launcher, and his and this one, his paint rocket basically punch, which he could use like anytime he feels like. So I explain the setups there, as basically that's basically Toga's setup. Also Izuku's secondary and specials that I also explained a bit. So I'm also continuing off now the battle. So I'm gonna say that like 2 days, like basically two. I'm gonna say this is supposed to start in 3 days. So I'm gonna say like 3 days pass, and it's midnight now. They actually slept more earlier because they slept during the day, and now it's night, like midnight. As midnight hits, as the game begins, as they were on the streets, as you can see people just pulling out paint weapons and start shooting one another. As basically Toga and Deku's like, so it's begin. As they take out their phones and as they use the location thing, as they see all the teams that is close by. There's a lot of teams that it was in that area, as basically they think let's not pull out our weapons now, as they basically go into a basically a high ground. They want to move on the rooftops instead of the basically on the ground, because a lot of people are going to move on the ground instead of the rooftops, as basically once they get to the roof they just start painting. As Izuku is running with his rolling pin while Toga is running behind her. The color that they are using now is this color, this dark blue color, as they are jumping from rooftop to rooftop, painting while running. As Toga is running behind Izuku, as I think a few other people also had the same idea, as they nearly got shot. Basically, they nearly got pod shotted by one of the basically enemy teams. As Izuku and Toga basically takes a basically they duck. Just quick statement: the people that are playing in this match doesn't have the quirks that they do. So yeah, they won't like basically they don't have they can't move like squids through their own paint. They don't have those quirks. They have different quirks such as zoom quirks, strength quirks, speed quirk, um, any quirks that will help them in a paint war. Any quirks that you can imagine, except for slowing down time quirk, a teleport quirk. They some people do have, as it's basically you can say a sniper on the roof, but he doesn't have a sniper weapon. He has a different weapon. As Izuku pulls out his sniper weapon, as he aims, shoots the person straight like in the face. As I'm gonna say that they are body targets, so there are certain positions on your body. If you hit the arm 5 times, then the person's out. If you hit the head, like if you like hit the head directly on point, then basically it's an instant kill. It's out. Person's out. As Izuku, like basically when he was about to shoot Izuku again, he just gets splattered with paint directly in the face. As Izuku eliminated one enemy. As I'm gonna say there was an enemy sneaking up on them. As Toga just splashed a large bucket of paint on them. As basically Toga eliminated that person. As basically when Izuku looked back at Toga, she shows a thumb up as some person's covered in paint. As basically Izuku puts away his sniper, takes out his rolling pin, and continues on the rooftops. And I'm gonna do like this continues happening as they are fighting different teams. These are low ranking teams, they have no skill whatsoever. Like I'm just gonna tell you now, there are only like out of the team 500 people that are playing this match, there is only 20 skilled players in this match. There's only 20 skilled players that can give Izuku and Toga a run for their money. 20 of them only. As they are like they basically really like they're just like eliminating like and they're a lot of weak players as they eliminated teams. I would say like teams wise they have like how many points do they have? They have They have Sigma. They have 800. They have 800 and basically 895. As they killed another person, that 895 basically went to 900. As they don't know how much points they have. They've just been eliminating people. And Izuku's been checking the map every few often, like every 5 minutes he's been checking the map. As basically time's going down, as the border starts getting smaller, as people are getting eliminated now fast. That 500 has dropped now down to 300 in a just matter of few minutes. As like 200 players were eliminated, 200 of them, as the battle is still continuing on, as time is going down, as like the more time that run, there's a time limit, as the barrier responds to a certain time, as the more the barrier shrinks, the more earlier the barrier is gonna the more less time the barrier is gonna take to shrink, as also the more faster it comes inwards. As Izuku starts eliminating more of the noobs, as I would I would say they still do this vice versa until they are forced off the roof, because there are a lot of people on the roofs now. So they are forced off the roofs, as I would say Toga splashed down the wall and the paint went down the wall so they can basically ink form all the way down to the floor. As they continue on their paint fest, painting the floors while they're running, just like in Splatoon, but this is much more bigger map, as the barrier is coming in on a lot of people, as that 300 dropped down to 200 now. 100 players was basically not they weren't taken out by the barrier, they were taken out by other players. So there are 100 players left, as Izuku and Toga don't realize that they're on top of the board because they have a lot of points. They're the ones doing most of the elimination. They're the ones taking out a lot of people, and they're also the not the closest to the center. They're the closest to the border, as they're running from the border. As I would say, some person that actually knows what they're doing, and I would say this is part of the 20 top that would give Deku and Toga a run for their money. This guy actually has a machine gun paintball weapon. As they start unloading this against Toga and basically Izuku, as Toga put on basically a paint barrier, as Izuku throws a bomb over the paint barrier, as this guy just rolls out of the way. He's a heavy person, as he rolls out of the way, as he avoids that explosion, as Izuku and Toga goes in the alleyway, as they have a partner that has paint knives, as they're traveling on the rooftops, as they try to basically jump off the rooftops and try to land on them. Toga pushes Izuku out of the way just in time for them both to dodge, as when Izuku rolls on the floor, he basically unloads his pistols, his paint pistols, or he unloads it on her, as she's just dodging, as she's some type of assassin. As I would say another top 20 team arrives as well, and this person is a snipe. These people are sniper nests. They have a sniper nest, as they shoot at the assassin person, as this assassin person basically cuts the basically she cuts the ink or bullet, you can say, or ink shot in half, as it misses her, as she looks at the sniper nest, as Izuku also looks at where the shot came from, as they both also thought of it at the same time that there's a sniper, as there's two of them, as the other one shoots at Izuku, but Toga puts up a shield. Another one, I would say she just got a secondary, so she puts up another one. Or no, I would say Toga just pulls him out of the way to avoid the shot, as Izuku pulls out his sniper, shoots basically fires back. while running with Toga, as he misses obviously, just past her head, like the ink bullet just passed her head, and she was impressed that he was able to hit her this far with that attack while running. So Deku was running with Toga while he shot that bullet. So that's why she's impressed, because he's running while taking the shot. As as she made basically like a side note to basically speak to them later because they're skilled. As I'm just gonna say that she's a pro hero. She is a pro hero. I would say that there are pro heroes here. Like some of the top 20 are pro heroes. So you might see some pro heroes that are pretty good with weaponry in here. As this person, pro hero, is a girl with a man beside her. As she starts smiling, as basically this guy's like, "So, what you're smiling at?" As basically she's like, "Ah, nothing." As she's just smiling for no reason. As basically the man speaks again. He's like, "You know you should focus on the match, right?" "Yes, yes, yes, I know. Whatever you say." Pro hero edge shot. As basically this guy looks at her as like, basically looks at her like, "Really? You're using my pro hero name?" As basically he's like, "What? That's what people call you, don't they?" As he's just like, "Whatever." As edge shot's in this one. Pro hero edge shot is also in this one. He's not going to be one of the. He might be one of the top 5 doing, but he's not going to be top first layer. He's not going to be the first one with the golden medal. It's going to be someone else. It's going to be Izuku, obviously. Spoilers. But there's going to be a scene on how he wins. Um, Izuku is making his way to a construction site with Toga as the battle still rages on. As he's getting more points as they don't know this, but they're number one on killing teams. They have say now the second placing team right now is not even close to how many players they've killed, and they are only like 3,000, basically 3,450. When Izuku's team basically is 665. A lot of new players went after them because they thought, ah, it's just two girls. Like, how skilled are girls gonna be? Mistake, mistake, mistake. As they were basically either caught by the border or they were either eliminated by Toga and Deku. And Deku and Toga didn't even realize they had this many points. As Izuku makes his way to a construction site, as they're camping there for a little bit, as they're resting, as the 200 players remaining went down all the way to 30. So there are 30 players left, including all 20 top players. As that is a problem because now Izuku and Toga are going to have a hard time surviving. As the 10 players got eliminated by the border, as now there's 20, including Izuku and Toga. There's actually 22, as this is going to be a battle now. As the border has shrunk to the point where everyone has to meet in a certain district, or basically a certain place, and this is near the center of Tokyo. As it's basically yeah, it's basically here in a four-way cross street, as all 20 players are basically cross from one another. Some players, there are 20 of them. Yeah, there are 11 teams. That's including Toga and Midoriya. Izuku and Midoriya. Izuku and Midoriya. That's including them too. So there are 11 teams, including Toga and like Izuku, obviously, including them too. And this is going to be interesting because it's 12 top players in Ink War. As Toga and Izuku are quite new, but they are quite skilled. As basically it's a standoff now. As you can see, some pro heroes here, some like people that's been playing this game for years, some pro heroes like Edgeshot is also here, but Edgeshot's not having the standoff. Like Edgeshot's not doing the standoff. It's the girl that took a shot, basically that Deku took a shot at. She's doing the standoff, um, because she doesn't have a partner with. So everyone knows that he's probably a sniper. As okay, guys, I think I have the characters. Giving me a minute to move to them. Never mind, I don't have the pictures for them. I thought I downloaded them before this video started, but apparently not. I must look into that, what happened to those pictures. But okay, so the characters are Edgeshot is here. Edgeshot is in this with a friend of his, which is a girl. There's another pro hero character, which I do not like. He has like, let's call him Gunslinger for now. He can shoot basically. He can shoot like bullets out of. I don't know his ability. I really don't know his ability. But there's another character that has some weird like. He has some weird like gauntlets that looks like stuff that you can load bullets in, from an old cowboy like basically thing. Eight shots here. Another girl's with him. A few other people here. Some paint war pros, as they're all like facing down. As the only person that's not here is Edgeshot, because he's a long range shooter and close range to mid range shooter. So Edgeshot is right now taking sniper position, as everyone knows that if she doesn't have one of her members, there's a sniper. Everyone knows this. As Izuku has his special charged, as basically Izuku is marking down his targets for his missiles to strike down. As Toga is basically looking for the sniper, as she finds it, as she's also gonna, like, she's not gonna use a special yet, but she's gonna, basically she tells Deku where the enemies are, as Toga's immediately gonna throw up a shield, as Edgeshot's aiming for Izuku because Edgeshot knows Izuku's in UA. So he wants to see what this kid's about, as he's aiming for Izuku, as he wants to see how skilled this UA student is, as Izuku can feel there's somebody pointing a gun at him. He can feel it, he just can't see it. As immediately one person lifts up their guns, everyone immediately fires. One person just like, everybody has their guns out, I'm gonna say, like cowboy style, everyone has their guns out. And they're just pointing in, like, they're pointing at each other. There's like 3 guns pointed at Toga. There's actually 2 pointed at Deku, Izuku, but there's actually 4. That's including the sniper, the girl, another 2 that are just pointing guns at Izuku, and yeah, that's it. As basically it's now a tough stare down. It's very intense. Only 10 people are gonna win, and there's only gonna be one person that's gonna get the gold medal. As they're all facing down, eye to eye. One person pulls the trigger. They all pull the trigger, as they're just waiting for one person to make a move. As Toga is like pointing one weapon at one person, as she's like basically reaching for something in her backpack, as Izuku has targets on everyone. Not the sniper dude because he's in a building. He's gonna launch his missiles, as they're gonna basically do skydives down on the opponents. As basically Toga is gonna throw up a shield. As one person fires, everyone fires. Toga immediately throws down the shield. as 4 bullets hit for Deku, 3 hit for Toga, as Deku fires the missiles, as all you see is objects going up, as everybody looks up, as immediately when they saw paint in the sky, they all just scattered. Everyone just scattered. Shot and the four that shot Deku and 3 that shot Toga missed because Toga threw up a shield. As Toga's also retreating, and Deku, as they just start now unloading. As with Deku's attack, he has wiped out 5. There are now, basically there were 25. There is now 15. He has wiped out 5 with that one attack. As Toga has just saved their lives by throwing that basically shield down. As now it's just all out paint war. As they are hiding behind their shields. As Ichai's like, damn it, I missed. That girl threw down some shield. Let's see how long that shield will last. As basically Toga can see the tank continuity. As she says, Deku, we're in the open and we have no cover. As Deku's like, he's thinking quickly. As he's like, as Deku gets the idea. Toga already used his bomb, so Toga can't use it again. As Izuku grabs Toga and starts running. As Ichiro sees him, he takes a shot. As basically he like turns around. He basically is watching Ichiro because he's a sniper. As he's watching the sniper, as he dodges the bullet. As everyone, like, Deku is the first person to move out of cover. As they all shoot at him. As Deku can see this, as he's running back to his paint path that he made all the way to the center of Tokyo. As they turn into squids, go through it as they go lightning fast. Basically, they're Ida right now in their own paint. They're Ida. As basically they move to cover. As Deku is making an ink path to cover. As he's covering this entire section with ink. Because they need an escape plan. As now the battle immenses as basically the fight is happening. As I'm gonna say 2 of the basically top basically rush Deku. As Deku didn't see it coming. As Toga saw it obviously coming. As Toga grabs Izuku's sword that he has. Wait, he has the duel. No, he doesn't have the sword with him. He basically Deku was about to get shot in the head before Toga just dumped the guy with paint. He was with a bucket. She's like, oh no you don't. As Deku turns, shoots the other guy in the face. As he eliminates both of them, as he dodges a few paint bullets. As he's like, damn, they have us pinned. As Izuku doesn't have enough paint for his special, but Toga does. Toga's special is gonna use. Toga's gonna use her basically paint laser that can go through walls and objects as she shoots through cover, as she hits 3 people in a line, as she moves to the sniper to try to get him out of cover. As Inshot had to get out of his bird nest to basically avoid the paint laser. As Inshot's like, damn, that laser moved me out of my sniper position. Now I better get my hands dirty. As he pulls out his 2 paint, basically bullets. His paint guns that are loaded with paint bullets. As I think another 5 people were eliminated because they ran out of paint to basically attack people with. They ran out of paint bullets. Izuku and Toga still have, they're still full. They won't run out of. The people don't realize that their quirks are stocking them up again. As the barrier is getting smaller. As Izuku pulls out he pulls out the rolling pin as he starts running. He starts moving forward. As Deku is moving forward. Everyone basically is also moving forward to the center, closer to the center, as they are now not in cover. As Deku changes his weapon and starts unloading with his basically double pistols. He starts unloading with his double pistols as Toga is right behind him also. like firing behind, as she throws down another shield as he gets behind it, as he eliminated 2 people. He eliminated 1 team that basically wasn't prepared for him to bomb rush him, as he throws a bomb finally over the thing, as that eliminates someone, as Deku's like, at least that hits something, as he starts unloading. Headshot is still in this game. His partner is still in this game, as this 15 turned down to 5, as basically there are, it's Deku's team, Headshot's team, and another one random person, as Headshot just shoots that person down, as now it's pros versus, basically it's a pro hero versus Izuku Midoriya, as basically he says, damn, that's Headshot, it's a pro hero, as Headshot only has a few rounds with him. His friend also has only a few rounds, as basically the barrier like ran out of paint, so now basically Zuko and Toga are out of bounds, as they're looking, basically guns are pointed at each other, as they like, so you in UA, kid? As basically Zuko's like, yeah, as he looks at Toga, as he's like, and you? No, I'm not in UA. As basically Headshot looks closer, and she's like, hey, aren't you that, wait, aren't you part of that League of Villains? As basically Toga's like, yes, I am, but I'm not working for them right now. As basically Headshot is gonna basically take her into custody once this is over. Well, Toga's gonna have to leave immediately. She's gonna have to dup. She's gonna have to dup. Because Headshot is a pro hero, and Headshot now knows that she's a villain. I would say that Headshot, like, because of the incident of the USJ, they kind of gave descriptions of people that left, even Izuku, as Headshot asked, so, Izuku, why are you working with a villain again? As Izuku's like, seriously, this is just coincidence. I really don't want to work with her. As basically, Toga's like, hey, we make a good team. Yeah, in Paint War, but not heroes and villains. In Heroes and Villains, we are great enemies. You do know that, right? As Toga's like, yes, but still, we make a good team. As she pouted a bit, as Izuku's like, but I made it this far, can't turn back now. As basically Headshot's like, true, can't turn back now. Even if you have to work, with a villain, they're like, heroes have worked with villains before. There is no lie about that. You're living proof that you can work. Like heroes can't work with villains. It's just that villains must be basically, how can I say it? Headshot's not gonna take her in custody. I'm just gonna say Headshot's not gonna take her in custody because she's not doing any crimes right now, and because she was fighting Deku in the USJ, she didn't really kill anyone, so she's not wanted for like murder or anything or any crimes. I mean, she disrupted the USJ. She like basically disrupted the USJ, yes, but still, Headshot's not gonna take her in custody. He might take her in for questioning, but he's just gonna let it be for now. As the duck, basically it's Headshot's team versus Izuku's team. As basically it's like, so I guess I'm gonna wish you luck now, kid. As basically Izuku's like, you too, Headshot. As basically they are gun to gun right now. Deku has his double pistols out. Headshot has his like you can say double pistols out. Ink double pistols. As Deku can either like there's 2 things Deku can do here. He can either wait until they run out of ammo, or he can either basically eliminate them. And there's a risk that he's gonna get eliminated if he tries to eliminate them, because Headshot has more experience than Izuku. But like I said, Headshot's not gonna be the one taking the crown. As Toga doesn't have her special active, Deku has a special, as his smackdown first, as basically the first person to pull the basically trigger was Toga. The second person was Idshot and then Izuku. As Izuku, like before he pulled the trigger, he rolled out of the way with Toga. As he unloaded, as they are retreating back. As I'm gonna say in their basically quick battle, they like made a lot of paint behind them. So there's a lot of their paint behind them as Deku morphs into a squid as he is move changing locations trying to avoid Inshot's bullets. As Toga is fighting his friend that is with him, which is a girl, as basically she is busy fighting Toga now, as Toga is busy using her basically mid to close range weapon as she's using her long range weapon, which is long to mid range weapon. Her weapon has more range than Toga. Toga has to get in mid close, which is pretty bad because she has a long range mid weapon. But still Toga is dodging as Deku Deku gets in shot and his friend close as Deku jumps in the air as he basically does a backflip as he comes down with his fist out as he slams the floor and an explosion of paint happens. Basically explosion of paint as it sends basically Inshot and his friend back as Toga basically finally gets the upper hand. She rolls into a close range with Inshot's friend, pulls out a bucket and bam, in the face. As basically she's like, gotcha. As she's like, damn it. As she's thinking, wait, how long have you been carrying a bucket of paint? As basically she's like, for a while. And that bucket of paint has been empty for how long? It can't be empty. As Toga fills her bucket up with paint. As basically she's confused now. She's confused. As Inshot is still focusing on Izuku. As Inshot fires. As Toga basically comes back to reality. As she's like, oh gosh, dodges. She dodges. As Izuku basically pulls out his sniper, fires. As it misses. As Inshot aims at Izuku. But Toga throws down a shield. Toga's been basically the saving grace for a lot of times because Toga's been throwing down shields as it saved them a lot of times. As Izuku shoots through the paint, as Toga gets hit in the shoulder, as he's like, I've been Inshot has been Inshot has been hit 4 times. One more shot and Inshot's out. Inshot's out. Deku has also been hit 4 times. So has Toga. Toga has 1 more life as well. As Inshot turns Inshot can see Toga coming behind him. As she pulls out her mid to close range as she starts firing. As Inshot rolls out of the way, rushes to cover. As it's basically 2 against 3. It's 2 against 1. As Inshot basically makes that even. As he basically shoots Toga. As Toga couldn't dodge because it was about to hit Deku also, so she basically took the shot. As basically she got hit, and she's like, damn it. She tells Izuku to finish this, as Izuku doesn't have his special activated, but Izuku throws a bomb as it explodes, as basically Inshot had to move out of the way. Izuku runs through the exploding paint as he starts firing. As he's on fire, Inshot just 1 shot from Inshot and he's out, and 1 shot from Izuku and Inshot's out. As basically Izuku takes out his sniper for a close range shot. As Inshot takes out he points the gun at Izuku. As Izuku points the sniper at Inshot as they both pull the trigger. But the bullet that makes it first is is Izuku's. As Izuku pulled the trigger right in Inshot's head. Bam. As Inshot's bullet still had to travel where Izuku's bullet just left the barrel as it hits Edshot in the head, as Edshot gets splattered with paint, as like Izuku won, but then he got eliminated, as it still says Izuku won, as on Izuku's wristband and his phone it says congratulations, you won the paint tournament, as basically Edshot's like, oh gosh damn it, seems like you win kid, as basically Edshot's like, hey, I got an offer for you. As Izuku's like, yeah, Edshot, how about you come to my agency? I got a lot to, I can teach you a few tricks and basically tricks, weaves, and maybe a bit of combat. And maybe you might be able to get a few more guns for paint guns for me. As Izuku's like, really? As Edshot's like, yeah, as Edshot's friend has finally realized why Toga and Izuku hasn't been running out of ammo. Because they are the ammo. Their quirk just basically gives them free ammo. As basically I was like, that is basically cheeky of you two. As Edshot's like, what do you mean? Is basically she also, haven't you realized, Edshot, they don't even need ammo. As Edshot's like, as Edshot doesn't even realize that Izuku hasn't been running out of ammo. He didn't need to reload on paint bullets. He didn't need to like basically take from other people's paint bullets. As Edshot finally thinks of this, as he's like, basically Edshot goes in a question mark state like, he finally realizes, as this whole time they have been using their quirks, as Edshot's like, so like this was, you can say like quirks were allowed, you could use your quirk, but there was not a lot of people with paint quirks. There was not a lot of people with paint quirks, especially Zuko and basically Toga. And those that did have paint quirks, they could like make paint for their gun, and they could basically, they were the ammo. Basically, they were eliminated. They were the first 100 people to be eliminated. So yeah, Izuku and basically Toga like had basically limitless ammo. As Edshot's like, oh gosh, I just realized that. As Edshot realized how Izuku could have won as well. Izuku could have just waited for them to. Izuku could have just dodged with Toga non-stop and they would have won. Basically, Edshot would have ran out of ammo with his friend and they would have basically just. They would have got number one as well. But they decided to go head first and yeah, they got number one. As also the points get pulled up on screen on who got the most kills. Izuku's team also got the most kills. As Edshot's coming in around about third. There's another team that got like second. And Izuku's coming in with a landslide of points. Score of the points are. Landslide points are 845. 845. That is, no, not 845, 8045. As basically the person that came in second place only got 5,605, while Izuku got 8,000, I should say, 8,000. As Edshot's impressed, as he's offered Izuku like to come to his agency, because I don't like Izuku's not going to be taking. Izuku told Edshot that he's not going to take the intrinsic. No, he's not going to take the. Izuku's not going to take the go to the sports festival. Like even if he was first, he's not going to go to the sports festival because his quirk is not suited for the sports festival. As Edshot's like, yeah, I figured that much. Yes. Basically, they meet up at a location that was sent by the people that, how can I say it, set up this Tokyo paint war. As they give basically there are cameras like on live television as they're recording this, as this video like this like basically is only gonna come out like after the sports festival, as Izuku gets like number one medal with Toga, which is technically a villain. It's just like Edshot didn't say that on TV. He's just keeping this to himself that that's actually a villain. As basically both Izuku Midoriya and Toga got first place in the paint war that basically that was made in Tokyo. As at also they got like again first place, also another two golden medals for Toga and Izuku, because they are the people that basically got the most kill points. As I'm gonna say, the war's over, paint war's over. Izuku and Toga got like first place, as Izuku basically like after he landed in basically back into his hometown, Toga was also with him, as basically Toga stretches as she's like, we're back home. As basically Toga, like basically Deku's like, yeah, so now Toga, what you gonna do? As he asks Toga this, as Toga's like, so now that my vacation is officially over, I am back to villainy, and my first villainy move is basically she stabs Izuku with a syringe, as she's like abducting you, as he basically said, damn it, Toga, I forgot you were a villain again. As he passes, basically Toga puts him to sleep, as Toga basically is carrying him to a car. As this car in like person driving it is none other than Darby himself. As basically Darby's like, so hey, as Darby was gonna pick up Toga, but Darby didn't expect Toga to come with a hero or basically a UA student. As Darby's like, ho ho ho, what is this? You brought a little gift for Shigaraki? No. As she's like, not for Shigaraki, for me. As Toga is still Toga. Toga still has attraction to Izuku. Even if Izuku looks like a girl, she still has an attraction. And I also made this clear, Toga and Izuku, because of their quirks, making them inklings and all, they are not going to have basically a gender. I'm not giving them a gender. This I'm not giving Izuku and Toga a gender. So this is fine. I've seen worse on what ifs. I'm like, you may be typing now and say this is weird, but this is fine. I've seen worse. Trust me. I've seen worse. I've seen a what if where Inko basically was the mother of Midoriya, obviously, and she was married to Night Eye, and this Night Eye was a female as well. So, you wanna go there with me now? Because I'll go there with you. I can like give you a whole lot of points of what weird what ifs I have seen and heard. So there is no problem with this. This is still drawing the line here. I'm still drawing the lines here. So this is fine. Through my eyes, this is fine. As basically they abduct Izuku Midoriya. As basically like Mr. Zawa's thinking, where's Izuku? He didn't come back from his paint war that was long time over. As I would say, like he took like a 3 extra day off. As like in this like Izuku like took 2 days to get back to his hometown. As he's taking another day off because he's been abducted by Toga. As I'm gonna give you the scene here. As Izuku wakes up, as Izuku doesn't have his weapons, neither his ink weapons, as he's basically I'm just gonna say he's lying in a room, tied up with he's gagged obviously. He's gagged, he's tied up, and he's lying in a room on a bed. as he does not know what's going on. As Toga basically walks in, as she's like, "Ah, you're awake." As you can most know, you know what's gonna go on here. It's either, it's either, you can most like tell what Toga wants here. As Toga wants to have a bit of fun with Izuku before he leaves back for UA. As I am trying. Okay, there's a choice here. There's a choice I can make here. Either get YouTube on my butt about this thing, or just basically leave it to the imagination. Uh, I don't know which to do here. I don't know which to do here, but I'll give you a little visual on what's happening. First thing that happens, Toga's still speaking in a playful way to Izuku, while Izuku is just trying to get free. As she gags Zuko, as like is the first words Izuku says is, "Toga, I swear to God, if you try anything, I'm going to." As basically Toga's like, "I'm gonna what?" As basically Toga is basically up, basically face eye to eye with Izuku, as you can most imagine. Now Toga's just making out with Izuku. You can most imagine the rest. I'm not telling you the rest. I'm not telling you this because I don't want YouTube on my butt because of this. I might do more open what ifs and might tell you more openly about what scenes might be happening. But for now, I'm rather gonna keep this to the imagination because you guys must, yeah, you guys can imagine what's happening. As I'm gonna say, Izuku, after that weird moment, Toga just made Izuku pass out again, as she basically gagged Izuku and basically dropped him off at UA tied up. As Mr. Aizawa, Mr. Aizawa was the first person on campus on UA, as he sees Izuku, as he's like, "Izuku!" As he basically takes her to recovery hall, as recovery states that he's fine. There's nothing, no harm has been to Izuku, except for some. As recovery girl stops on that one, as Mr. Zawa's like, "Except for what?" As basically recovery girl says some, basically Izuku has been, or whatever the villains have done, it's pretty sexual to Izuku, as basically she looks at Mr. Zawa's like, "You know what I mean," as Mr. Zawa's like, "Oh, I don't know how Izuku's gonna hear about this, feel about this." As Izuku wakes up, as the only thing he remembers is that last minute moments with Toga, and Izuku's like, "Ah!" As basically she's looking left, right, she's still in the room. As basically Mr. Aizawa was like, "Calm down, Izuku. What happened?" As Izuku's like, as Izuku can't even speak right now. As Mr. Aizawa was like, "Izuku, are you listening?" As he snaps his fingers, as Izuku comes back, as Mr. Aizawa asks again, "What did the villains do to you?" As when Mr. Aizawa said, "What did the villains do to you?" he thinks back to Toga, as his face gets red, as basically he hides under the blanket, as he says, "Nothing, I don't want to speak of it now." As basically Mr. Aizawa's like, "Ah, this is a drag." As he basically stands up and tells Izuku, I would suggest you get home, and basically get home, get dressed, get prepared for school, because and get prepared for school. Basically that's what Mr. Aizawa says. As Mr. Aizawa can tell something happened, but it's something that Izuku doesn't want to say, and Aizawa doesn't want to pressure Izuku, so he's just like, Izuku will tell me what happened sometime when he's ready, but Actually, Azawa knows kind of from Recovery Girl. Like, basically, he doesn't know it was basically Toga. He doesn't know that it would, like, he thought it was like a man from like the Villain League because it's Izuku and Izuku looks like a girl. He thinks it's a man from the Villain League, but no, it's actually Toga. He'll be surprised who it actually was. And he's like, oh, he'll tell me. They will tell me eventually. I mustn't use he because they're genderless. They're gender neutral. I had to use gender neutral terms. They will tell me when they are ready. As Mrs. Hour walks, gets ready for basically class. As Izuku like takes another day off. So it's 4 days Izuku has taken off from school. On the 5th day he returns. As it's 5 days before the basically the sports festival. As Izuku walks in class on the 5th day, as everyone sees Izuku, as they're like, yo dude, where were you in the sports festival? As that's like basically everyone's asking where was Izuku in the sports festival, as Izuku says that they didn't do the sports festival, they did something else. And also I would say that they like held off on the people that were like, until all the children were back in UA, they held off on giving the people recommendations, or the people that basically like were looking to give the new UA students a, how can I say it, basically that training thing that like basically the UA students had to do. That training thing that Bakura also did, where he basically, where Deku learned how to control one fool by Toshinori. No, not Toshinori. The old man, the one that can jump from wall to wall. That guy. He learned how to use full cowling. That person, yeah, him. Basically that. As Izuku's gonna have like basically two of them. As I would say like Izuku's gonna have two of them. No, Izuku's just gonna have one. Izuku's gonna have one, and it's gonna be where Ida is basically gonna try to kick the hero villain's ass, but little does he know the hero villain's gonna kick his ass. As like Izuku's gonna be patrolling, so Izuku's gonna be with Snipe's agency, as they focus more on close combat, knife to knife, gun, basically gun combat as well. As Izuku's also gonna be getting a few other guns as well. As I'm also gonna stop it there. There's a weird scene for you guys that I finally done on my YouTube channel. A weird scene for you guys that you guys can use your imagination to use. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna go any further on that scene. And if you like this video, subscribe, like, and leave a comment, because I would really like your comments down below on how I done this, how I structured the battle of the basically ink war, you could say, or turf. It's not turf war, it's ink war, because it's a team deathmatch basically. So I would like your thoughts on it, and how was it? Did you like a few like aspects of pro heroes, like in the top 20 pros of basically ink war? Um, if you like me adding Edgeshot and Izuku's like basically battle, just like they didn't do like that, like they did like was stress, like was a serious moment, but it wasn't that like flashy moves like backflips, tricks, or explosions. Not that much explosions, like, and there was also a weird scene at the end, like close to the end. So if you like this video, comment, please comment. I would like your opinion on this video. Subscribe, because I need subscribers. My target is 100 subscribers, and if that's my target, 100 subscribers, but first we must get to 50. So my target now is 50 subscribers. If you can turn that 27 subscribers into 50, that would be greatly appreciated. Like the video, and I'll see you later. This is Rogue Assassin here, signing out.